Happy Saturday. It's game day as the Hawkeyes are going to kick off in about 15 minutes against Purdue and West Lafayette. I'm Travis Justice. He's Ross Peterson. Happy game day, Ross.
Happy game day to you, buddy. Yeah, it does feel like a happy game day for the first time in a long time here.
Do you know why? Because you and I started our morning at Jethro's Bacon and Bacon for breakfast this morning, and I called my wife. As soon as I got in the car, we were leaving Bacon and Bacon. I called my wife and said, Anjanette, you're not going to believe this. I had the most fantastic waffles I've ever had in my entire life. So if you want a great breakfast, I had the Bananas Foster waffles at Jethro's Bacon and Bacon. And to die for.
Travis, this makes now like 6 or 7 dishes that we can say from that Jethro's breakfast that are fantastic.
Yes.
The biscuits and gravy are amazing. They've got that breakfast poutine that is off the charts. The steak and eggs, dude. Even the brisket. They have like a brisket and eggs that they were doing. Oh,
you know what I almost went with, because they brought some food into the KXNO studios earlier this week. I was going back and forth between the Bananas Foster waffle or the breakfast grinder. I almost went with the breakfast grinder, but I'm like, that'd be a little heavy. I'm glad I selected what I did, but I think next week we might have to go. I might have to get the breakfast grinder next week.
Dude, I feel like with this weather and it's an away game.
Yes.
What a great idea! Head to Jethro's, get some of that big heavy food for while you're enjoying this game today.
And just to let everybody know, they serve breakfast all day long. They don't cut breakfast off at like 11 o'clock. You can go in and get breakfast all day long at Jethro's. We went to the Bacon and Bacon location. Of course, Jethro's all over the area. And you can listen to the Jethro's Barbecue Sound Off coming up after the game from 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock on News Radio 1040 WHO. Ross, this is going to be an interesting game because weather could play a factor. It's windy. They're saying up to 50-mile-an-hour winds. It could rain. The rain is starting to move in. And throw the rain and wind, and the first time Iowa's played on natural grass all year, this has a lot of storylines already. We haven't kicked off.
Yeah, now that's one that's new to me. I guess I hadn't heard that this week, Travis. First time on natural grass all season for this team.
Season.
That's interesting.
How about this? They've won 3 in a row on natural grass. The last time they lost on natural grass at Purdue in 2020.
Yeah, how many Big Ten stadiums still have the natural grass?
Let's see, Northwestern, Purdue, and that could be it.
Yeah. Okay. So that's cool. That's an interesting one. I think that this weather stuff helps the Hawkeyes. I'm sorry I'm so shaky here. I'm trying to hold my camera. In fact, let me just go into the room here and I can set it down because it's making me sick.
You wanted to go old school,
Well, I just happened to fire it up while I was in the hallway there, and I thought it might work easier, but it's making me sick to see it there. Now I look all Hawks with the
there you look great.
Background. Now I look good, feel good. This is going to be an interesting game day, Travis. I feel like the confidence level of Hawk fans. When we sat down to have Jethro's this morning, you gave me that little wink and that confident smile and said, "I think the Hawks going to win today."
And I followed that by saying, because that would be the most Iowa thing to do.
Yeah, and I do think that the weather helps. Back to the weather point, I think having anything that can maybe slow down this Purdue offense, and it's all about the defense for the Hawkeyes. If this defense can absolutely shut down Purdue, could this defense, have they shown to us that they can be really good, but then still give up a couple of big plays to this Purdue offense? Yeah, they have. So let's hope that the offense is able to build off the momentum they got last week from Northwestern. Not a great defense against Purdue again this weekend. So let's hope we're looking at I could see a 14-6 win for the Hawks.
Wow. 14-6 that'd be a lot lower scoring than I thought for Purdue. But again, I think weather plays a factor. Purdue's defense, sneaky good numbers wise. It's not as bad as what you think as far as the numbers wise. But the last 2 games, Nebraska exposed them with long passes. Trey Palmer had like 200 yards receiving. The only problem here is it's not like Iowa was a huge passing team, right? So it's not like Iowa was going to be throwing the ball over the place with 50-mile-an-hour winds. The big difference is you mentioned the Iowa offense. It was the offensive line a week ago. They made some switches on offense, and that's really paid off for Iowa last week. But again, we'll know more today because it's Purdue, and Purdue's better than Northwestern. There's no doubt about that. So this is maybe more of a measuring stick game for Iowa than Northwestern is. or was.
Great terminology for it, Travis. Absolutely. Illinois was a measuring stick game.
Yeah.
And the Hawks ended up just short of Illinois. Now, I think today is great way to put it. Certainly an uptick from the worst team in the Big Ten, that is Northwestern. And the Hawkeyes, I'm trying to stay positive about this and say the Hawkeyes beat up Northwestern last week. That's what you got to do. They didn't get past Northwestern like Illinois got past Iowa. This is going to be a much closer game, a lot like what we saw with Illinois, I think.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to see how Torrey Taylor punts in a situation like this. Watch special teams too, right? I mean, Drew Stevens a week ago, 4 field goals, a 53-yarder. With the win today, how does the weather even affect special teams? Because in a close game, and Purdue's played a lot of close games this year. Close games, those special teams errors or hits also make a big difference.
Yeah, it's like our golf game, right, Travis? You and I go
horrible?
Out, no. Well, yeah, struggling.
Okay.
You and I go out, and you got that 50-mile-an-hour wind in your face, and you're like, it's just going to be a long hole, right? And you maybe hit one of your best drives because you just hit it straight and keep it low and all that. When do you get in trouble? When you get in trouble is when that 50-mile-an-hour wind is at your back, and you're like, here we go. I'm John freaking Daly. I'm going to tee this thing high and let it fly, and I'm going to hit a 5,000-yard drive here. What do you do?
When really we should use a 4-wood or a fairway wood or
just
a hybrid to keep it lower,
right,
to keep it, get it 30 feet off the ground. That's about as one. But no, we would have hit a bomb. That's what we
get up there. I get all aggressive, and I top it to the ladies' tee.
Yeah, we've all been known to do that. So kickoff.
I don't know. I think that my idea is that wind can play with your head more than it actually plays with the game.
Yeah, I would agree with you. So the kickoff coming up in about 10 minutes. The game is being broadcast on FS1, but you want to turn the TV down and turn the radio up, and you can listen to the game on News Radio 1040 WHO, also on the iHeartRadio app. Don't forget the Jethro's Barbecue Sound Off coming up after the game, 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock. Ross and I will be taking your phone calls, your tweets. You can tweet at us at WHO Sound Off. We'll be back at halftime to give you our first half thoughts. But he's Ross Peterson. I'm Travis Justice. We'll see you at halftime, and go Hawks!
Go Hawks!